All right, what's up, everybody? We are back here for week 2 of Backyard Bookies. Week 1 of college football last weekend, week 1 of the NFL this weekend. It's the best time of the year, Scott, and things kind of kicked off with a blast. I mean, how about those Buffaloes?
Yeah, I mean, I picked the Buffaloes to cover, but I don't think many people thought, besides maybe Pat McAfee, thought that the Buffaloes would come out with a win there. It's pretty impressive to pretty much upend your entire roster and then throw in 80 new guys and you win a game against obviously obviously TCU didn't have their team from last year, but still TCU and didn't have a lot of their roster either, but at the same time, it's pretty impressive to upend your entire roster and beat them on the road for your first game in Power Five atmosphere. So really cool for Prime. I might talk about this later. I can talk about this now, but this week against Nebraska, I am watching that game as a spectator. I want nothing to do with it, but it,
Agreed.
it, it could
Agreed.
be interesting to see how Colorado can do the rest of the year. They got some pretty big games coming up after Nebraska as well. They got USC coming up, and then I think they have Oregon even sooner than that. So we'll see what they do against their
I mean,
actual
it's a
opponent.
must. It's a must win against Nebraska this weekend. You lose against Nebraska, you threw away everything you did last weekend. You cannot lose that game. Have to win that game against Nebraska. I would not touch that game either. Vegas has no idea what to do with them. They upgraded them 21 points. Like, okay, let's be real. You won on the road against a Power 5 school. TCU is not ranked number 17. TCU's defense is Garbo. They led the nation in big plays last year, giving up, and it looks like more of the same from them. So pump the brakes a little bit, but Shedeur Sanders can definitely play quarterback. I think that was the biggest question mark for this team coming in. But let's go through the week real quick. Just run it down. 3 points for you, Scott. Very solid start to the weekend. Me, on the other hand, 1 point. I caught a terrible beat with Louisville up 8 and getting a fourth and out in field goal range inside of 2 minutes. And we chose to kick a field goal and then give up a garbage touchdown. But we're not here to talk about the pass. Just not here. I'm going to make up those 2 points this week. What's your first game you got for us?
So just before I get to my picks, I just wanted to say there are 4 games this week that I just want absolutely nothing to do with. I don't want to look at. I'll watch the game as a spectator. For some reason, for me, week 2 is probably the hardest week to bet because you see well, first off, Vegas kind of has a feel for where they're going to go each way. Obviously, maybe not for Colorado, but I feel like week 2 is always the hardest because you have a team like Colorado that has you have nowhere to go from that first game, but also you have decent matchups like Texas Alabama. We saw Alabama play against shit, and we saw Texas play against shit, and now they're going to play against each other. We have no idea where to go for that. I don't want anything to do with Texas Alabama. I would probably pick Texas to cover, just
I
as
like
a
I like a first half cover for Texas, but I think Bama might. It's 7.5. So I
yeah.
like a first half Texas. I don't know. Saban puts away his assistants pretty consistently.
I feel like on paper you think Alabama will probably cover that, but I think Texas can keep it close, kind of like they did last year. But like I said, 1-0 to do with that game. The other game, well, there's 2 other games besides the Colorado game. I've kind of touched that up on that one already. Utah Baylor, don't want to touch that game. Both quarterbacks are probably going to be out. I don't think Cam Rising is playing. He might not
Ooh,
play
that's not
much of the
that's
year.
not what I heard about
Um,
Cam Rising. That's not what I heard about Cam Rising. Heard he
he
practiced
might
all
play. I'm not
week.
100% sure, but they might sit him for another game because Baylor lost to Texas State. They lost their quarterback as well. So on the road in a Big 12 environment, 7.5 points. Once again, on paper, Baylor's probably looking like they're not going to cover that game. Utah probably covers 7.5. But if I were to bet it, I'd take Utah. That's also my bias speaking. But at the same time, Baylor loses to Texas State in a pretty bad fashion. I don't want anything to do with this game. I'll watch it happily as a spectator. The other last game that I will not touch: Wyoming, Texas Tech. Keep me away. I'm sorry, Texas Tech and Oregon. Excuse me. Oregon,
I smell a
obviously
rat. I smell a
81 points,
rat.
81 points in their first game. Except that I don't know who they play. They play Portland State, who I'm
Portland
right next door
State,
to
a
them.
bad
Li-
FCS team.
lit-
No.
Literally 10 minutes away from their stadium. Yeah, they played all of their freshmen in their in the second half of that game, hence giving up 50-plus points in the second half. Kind of a fluky score. When you see 81 points, you're like, wow, this team must be really good. I don't think they're that good, and I really don't think that Texas Tech losing to Wyoming is that big of a deal. They're a solid team, but going to Wyoming, 7,200 feet, double overtime, kind of a hostile environment. Wyoming's not an easy place to play, to be honest. So
They're getting rowdy in
losing in
Laramie.
that
I
one,
hear that. I hear
yeah,
that.
they do get rowdy. That's all they got there. So I want nothing to do with this game. Oregon is 6.5-point favorites. I would probably pick Tech actually to cover that game if I were to pick it, but I'm not going to.
If
We're staying away
you're
from
gonna,
those four. We're not staying away from Colorado, staying away from Texas, staying away from Oregon and Oregon, Texas Tech, and staying away from what other game?
I got my grubby little
I just
hands
blanked.
over multiple of those games. I'm getting in on the action on. You're gonna love that, Scott.
So we'll go to my picks first. My first pick. So obviously last week I picked an NFL game. I'm an idiot. I'm
Oops.
gonna
Oops.
go ahead and
Take that L.
admit that. I ended up picking another prop and ended up losing. I picked what's his name from Florida, Graham Mertz, to go under his passing yardage. Not great. He went over it by about 80 yards, so it didn't happen there. For the first game, I'm going to pick Notre Dame, NC State.
Mm.
Kind of going on the same stuff we went off last week. I like picking the very veteran quarterbacks. I know what they're doing. Sam Hartman is a 6-year quarterback. Put up a lot of points at Wake Forest. He's still doing it here at Notre Dame. He's showing that he's, capable of he's capable of playing in college, obviously. But 7.5 points for me, 7.5 points for me doesn't seem like enough. I think they can probably cover by 14. Trying to pull up the action here real quick.
I'm a little worried about the interior here. North Carolina State, not soft on the inside. Notre Dame maybe doesn't be able to. Maybe they're not going to be able to run the ball as well. They have might get pushed around a little bit here.
Yeah, so Notre Dame is 76% is picking Notre Dame to cover. Not good looking there when you have a lot of the public picking them. Same with Colorado. I think Colorado was like 92% on Colorado. So no, thank you. NC State, there's some expert picks picking their spread. So kind of split both ways. Usually don't want to go with the public, but I did okay last week picking with the public. But 7.5 points, I think they'll probably cover that. They are in NC State. They are in Raleigh, so something to watch. But I think Sam Hartman is very capable, and he did a really good job last 4 years at Wake Forest. So yeah, Notre Dame minus 7.5.
I like Notre Dame. I like what I've seen so far. I'm scared. I'm a little scared they might get a little pushback here from NC State. Notre Dame has been known to play down to their competition, especially when it's actual competition, unlike the first 2 weeks of the season. But I like Sam Hartman. I mean, maybe he has changed things for Notre Dame. Prolific passing attack. I'm picking a game Friday night. Got a Friday night game, and I don't know about you, but when you look good, you feel good, you play good. The Kansas Jayhawks are rolling out the blackout uniforms. I mean, these things are beautiful. We'll put them up on the screen here. I mean, lights out uniforms. Not a huge fan of the font, but the players are going to be looking good. They're going to be feeling good. I strictly pick only for uniforms. Oh, wait. Jalen Daniels coming back for the Jayhawks. Big 12 player of the year picked by the media. He's coming back at quarterback. They're only laying 3 at home against Illinois. Everybody's going to be at that game on a Friday night. It's going to be lit. And this Illinois team is not that good. Now, Kansas struggled a little bit in the first half last week against, I think it was Montana State they played, or maybe Missouri State, one of those states. But they ended up covering. Huge second half from them. And their quarterback's back this week. I mean, Jalen Daniels was electric last season, got the Jayhawks on the map, essentially got them into the bowl game before he went down. He's going to be playing this week. I mean, it's just a quarterback mismatch. I think this kid is electric. He can run the football. He throws it pretty well, too. And I'm only laying a field goal on a Friday night in Lawrence. Illinois' got no shot here. It's not a good football team whatsoever. I love the Jayhawks here at -3.
Yeah, I'm not really big on Illinois. I haven't really been big on them last. And I think even a few years ago, weren't they in the top 25? And I'm like, they'll be out of there very soon. Kansas with a pretty surprising year last year. Like I said, Jaden Daniels coming back this week is very big for him. He was very important in that top 25 run last year. So, yeah, I like that pick. They'll be looking good too. So, wearing all blacks on the at home is I like that a lot. But for let's see, my second game, Iowa State, Iowa. For some reason, I love picking Iowa. I love picking Iowa games. For I don't know why. I have some affirmation with them, but it's a it's a pretty big rivalry matchup. Not pretty big, but it is one.
It's a
One of the
Midwest
rules on this
rivalry
show,
game. It's a
yeah,
rivalry game.
a rule on this show is you pick two rules for me is if it's a Big Ten under and it's under 40, you pick the under every time. And the second rule is if it's a rivalry game, you always take the points. So for me, I'm taking the points here. I think Iowa State can cover 4. Very low over under, crazy low over under is one
36
more
and a
reason
half.
I'm 36 and a
36 and a
half. So that's
half.
one more reason to take the points. If they're expecting something like a 17-7 or a 17-10 or something just absurdly low like that, you might as well take those points as well because they're worth way more. Um, both teams, I think, I want to say they were under the last couple times they played too. I think the last like 4 times they played. Yeah, last 4 times they played have been under. Um,
I
and then
did Iowa
and
hit
then
the
I'll,
under last week? Iowa did not even hit their over last
yeah,
week. Did they? Did
they were
they?
under last week too,
Yeah.
24-14.
I should have took them last week. I should have stayed with this. Should have stayed true. So I
Yeah,
like
so I
this.
think all the really like big Big Ten unders, I mean the small Big Ten unders, they were all under. So um, I just have a good time picking the super unders. But in
That's
this game, 36 and a half is ridiculously low though. I don't want to touch that. But I'll take the spread. Iowa State +4.
okay. I love me some Big Ten football. Let's go with a one I think is a little bit easier here. How about the Sooners last weekend? Everybody was kind of wondering what we were going to see from Brent Venables and Dylan Gabriel, and they lit it up. They poured it on them. 73 points. I mean, I don't care who you are. I don't care who you're playing. 35 points in the first quarter, it felt like, or something like that. 28. It was ridiculous for them. That's not easy to do. I don't care who you're playing. They got SMU coming to town. They're laying 16 here. I'm feeling comfortable with the Sooners by 3 touchdowns. I really liked what I saw from Dylan Gabriel at quarterback. He showed what we thought he was when he was recruited. Obviously, he dealt with a lot of injuries and stuff last season. And Brent Venables' defense, man, they got his guys in there year 2 under the system. It started looking like a real defense. They shut shit down. I understand they weren't playing anybody, but they gave them nothing. So an improved Oklahoma defense. I mean, I don't know what to take away from SMU here. They blew out La Tech, not a very good La Tech team. I think Oklahoma's sitting pretty here at home, 16 points. I'm comfortable at the 16 mark, 3 touchdowns, like I said, 21. I think they're trying to make a statement. Oklahoma was picked to finish in the middle of the pack in the Big 12 right before they head to the SEC. That's not it. I think they're making statements. They're going to pour it on SMU. I'm even not worried about a backdoor cover here if they put this game out of reach. Oklahoma is keeping their foot on the gas until the start of October and when they meet Texas. So I love the Sooners here. I was very impressed with them. I think this is a talent mismatch and a team that is very, very motivated.
Yeah, just kind of going on the same topic as the quarterback topic here. Dylan Gabriel is also a 4-year, I think 4-year quarterback now. He came from one of the Floridas, Central Florida, one of those.
Maybe
Um,
SF, CF,
I think
one
one
of
of the
the Fs.
Floridas,
One of the
Central
Fs.
Florida, or yeah, one of the Fs. But just going on that, I mean, he's a very experienced quarterback, and last year kind of fluky as well. But I like that pick a lot. Girlfriend will like that pick as well. But
CF. He is a
um,
he is a
CF,
Black
CF,
Knight, Black Knight, whatever they are.
gotcha. So I'm actually going to kind of go away from what I've traditionally gone with. I'm actually going to pick a couple NFL games here.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
One of the games I picked last week as well, but of course that they weren't playing, so that doesn't count.
It's gonna
Um,
carry over.
they're rolling over since I picked them last week. I'm like, well, I have to pick them this week. Washington, Arizona. under 38.5.
Ooh.
If there was a lock of the, if we were still doing lock of the week, I think I'd probably pick this as a lock of the week to go super under. Um, Man, just looking at those two teams, I don't know how you'd ever pay a ticket to even go see those two teams. Washington might be kind of okay this year. We'll see. They could sneak into like number 2 or 3 in the NFC East. I don't know. They could be okay with Sam Howell. Arizona, if they win a game, God bless them. I don't see any offense or defense on this team. It really depends on if Sam Howell wants to score points on Sunday, and if that's the case, they might go over. But 38.5 still seems like too much.
It's a big number.
So
It's a
I am taking
big
the under.
number.
It's just, man, it's usually under 40 with the NFL. You're kind of scared, but this one I don't feel as scared. I kind of want to see what the public has to say about this one. Um,
I don't think the weather's supposed to be great on the East Coast this weekend either. I think it's supposed to be a little damp and kind of rainy stuff. But yeah, God bless. I mean, Arizona's quarterback's been there 2 weeks. I mean, Dobbs is
yeah,
starting at quarterback for them. He's been there 2 weeks, missed
it's
essentially all
actually
of
gone up
camp.
to 38 since I down to 38 since last week. Um, Public is showing total. They're picking 66% under. So there you go.
They feel the
Um,
same. Nobody believes in the Cardinals
and
whatsoever.
and and spread -7 is getting pretty hammered by the public as well. So they're really
I
saying if Arizona wants to score, good for them, but I don't think they're going to. So 38, I can change it to 38 now, but yeah, that just seems like a lock to me.
I like it. I think under safe. I don't see how Arizona. I mean, that's the one part of Washington's their front 5 or 7 or whatever they line up on the defensive line is a problem for good teams, let alone a team that has kind of a young offensive line and a brand new quarterback. And who knows if they're even going to, who knows what Arizona's trying to do offensively. I was a little bit higher on the Cardinals until they got rid of Colt McCoy. So they're goofy. I may also have a little action on this game, but we'll save that one. You told me not to touch this game, Scott. You told me
I
not to
didn't
touch
tell
it.
you. I'm
You
telling you,
told
I'm not going to.
you told me not to touch this game, but we're going to Waco, 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 Waco. Um, Utah getting 7.5. I love the Utes. Dismantled a bad Florida team. I didn't think Florida was going to be good. I think most people outside of the state of Florida didn't think Florida was going to be good. They dismantled them. No Cam Rising, no problem. Cam Rising practiced all week. Now, could that be a smokescreen? Possibly he could play, but Chapin is out for the Bears, and his backup. I don't remember his name. I don't care to remember his name. He was dog shit. I mean, he was 6 of 12 with an interception against Texas State. Dave Aranda came in as a defensive guy. That defense was abysmal. They gave up 42 to Texas State. I know it's week 1. I know it's a new thing. Utah's going to run the ball all over this team. They're going to throw all over this team. I mean, the quarterback play they got last weekend wasn't bad. They shouldn't have rotated. Obviously, it didn't quite work out for them. But I think, Utah plays a lot better at home than they do on the road. I don't see them having a problem with Baylor though. You don't fix the problems you had in 1 week, and you're not going to take a guy who was never projected to play or prepared to play and get him ready to play a team that it was very good defensively in Utah. So I think Utah runs through Baylor. They've had extra break too. They played on Thursday. Baylor played on Saturday, so it's even more prep time, which helps a lot. For guys. So I love Utah. You say bias. I love them -7.5 here. I think Utah's a team maybe sneaky out of the Pac-12. All those teams, USC, Washington, the Pac-12 sneaky good. Don't play much defense, the other two teams, but Utah's a team to play some defense. So I like the Utes here. I think they have no problem in Waco.
Yeah, I mean, really, of the 4 games, like I feel like that's probably the safest one. Especially if Cam Rising plays. That's a whole complete game changer.
I mean, it's
Um,
easy if Cam
Complete
Rising
game
plays.
changer.
Easy if he
Yeah,
plays.
I don't know what the point spread is or what they're really basing it off of, if they're basing it off of him playing or not, but I'm guessing they are. And if definitely if they are, that's probably the safest of the 4. Man, Baylor losing to Texas State, I don't think that's I mean, even with shaping in, they were still trailing at half. So I don't know what to think. And they're at home. They could be pissed off. I don't know. But of the four, that's probably the safest pick for me. So I don't hate it. I'm not gonna fight you against that one.
You talked about this game earlier. I got the prop for you here. Mr. You talked about Commanders Arizona here. Sam Howell. I like what I've seen from Sam Howell so far. He was good last year in his one game against Dallas. He was good in the preseason and in Baltimore's, what was it, 23 game, 24 game preseason win streak. Now I know it's against backups. His total is 205 passing yards, 205 and a half against a Cardinals team that has zero defense. Zero. Like negative zero. I got Sam Howell going over here. He's got weapons galore. Now, is Scary Terry going to play? Maybe. But
He's active.
He
got activated.
Sunday. We'll find out Sunday if he's actually going to go with the turf toe. As of now, yes. But him and Dotson have been hitting it up in the preseason. He looks great. And I looked, if you want to hedge this bet, I mean, Brian Robinson, their running backs, totals only 59 rushing yards. So do they just not think the Commanders are going to do anything on offense but cover the 7? It's kind of not making any sense to me right here. So if you think they're going to run the ball all day, hammer that 59. But I think they're going to throw the ball enough. 205 yards is not a lot in an NFL football game for me. So I like Sam Howell. I think 205 is no problem. I think Washington cruises. I think they win by a couple of touchdowns, the 7 at least. I know 7's a big, big number in the NFL. But I like this game. We both wanted action on this game. I think everybody thinks Arizona is terrible, and they're probably correct.
Yeah. I think I picked one too many games.
It's whatever.
I'll take off the Carolina-Atlanta. I'll take off that one. But
all right, there you go.
Yeah,
you can stay.
My prop is also going to be Calvin Ridley. I was going to keep that one from last week because I'm a dumbass. Yeah, it's Calvin Ridley over 54.5. We'll take away the Carolina-Atlanta one. For some reason, I was thinking 4 games of prop in a dog. But anywho.
Math is hard.
Yeah, I'll take,
you went to A&M.
Yeah,
Math is hard. I understand.
I'm really slipping these last 2 weeks. Well, for week 1,
He's rusty. He's rusty. Get him in. Get him in.
And I'm trying to sneak in an extra game to get an extra point on you.
As he's already beating me. This is bullshit. This is bullshit.
Yeah, so we'll take Calvin Ridley over 54.5. If you tuned in last week, then you know why. I'm not going to go over it again.
Do you want to go again? I could take the dog first if you want.
You can go dog first.
I want to go my dog. I want you to end this thing. I need you to clear your headspace. Get it right. You told me not to touch these games. I have it down to 2 games. You told me not to touch either one of these games.
I didn't tell you to touch them. I said I'm not going to.
He told me not to touch them, folks. You heard it. He said don't touch them. I smell a rat. I smell a rat. And that rat is in Lubbock, Texas. Oregon only a 6.5 point favorite here. Oregon hung 81 points. They're ranked number 15 in the country. Bo Nix, Heisman Trophy guy. Tech, they blow a 17-point lead. They lose in double overtime to Wyoming in elevation. I know a rat when I see one. I smell said rat. Give me the Red Raiders plus 205 at home with the upset. We had a lot of upsets last week. You and I didn't pick any of them, but there were some massive upsets. I like Tech in this game. Give me Tech on the money line. I think that's the juicy action. This game will be either an Oregon cover or a Tech win. There is no Tech cover this game. Just take them on the money line because if it's within 6.5, they're winning this football game. They're not losing by a field goal. I was tempted by UT plus 225, but Saban's only lost to 2 assistants, and one of them has won 2 national championships, and the other has also won a national championship. Steve Sarkisian is not that guy. So if you really want to get spicy, Texas plus 225, no, but I like Tech plus 205 as my upset this week.
I like it. You also got Tyler Shugg playing his old team. So
revenge is big. I like
revenge game against his old team. Like I said, I'm not touching it because what you said could very well happen, and don't take what last week happened.
I touched it in the right way. I touched it in the right way, right?
So
it's the right kind of touch.
You didn't take last week into this week. That's the most important thing. 81 points was a complete fluke, and I think going into Wyoming at that altitude, it does matter. That altitude does matter, and also travel to
It's weird.
where they
It's
and
it's just
Laramie
weird.
is just
Week one
it's
is
just a,
weird.
it's just a weird place to go, weird place to play. Week one, just tough, and they're probably pissed off. So could go either way. I like your pick,
Break
especially
out the
just for the dog.
tortillas, boys. Break out the
So
tortillas.
yeah, so this is gonna be a fun one too for my last pick. So this team played in Provo last week. Um,
Oh.
only gave up 14 against Keaton Slovis, who I mean had a good freshman year at USC. I think he threw for 25 plus touchdowns, decent quarterback. Um, Sam Houston State playing in Texas against Air Force, NRG Stadium, very, very low total. So they're thinking run the ball, run the ball. Obviously, Sam Houston State only giving up 14 against BYU.
Did not score any points either. Did not
Didn't score either. That's
got a
quarterback
goose.
didn't look great. So there was a big goose. Very, very boring game. But they're 13.5-point dogs against Air Force, who they even played. I don't think they really played anybody last week. They played whoever RMU is. I
That
don't know
doesn't
who
sound
that
like
is.
a real school.
I can't even figure out who they played. Doesn't tell me. It's RMU. Robert Morris, maybe.
Is that even a real
That
thing? Yes, Robert
I
Morris.
think.
That's who they played.
Yeah, so they beat them 42-7, and also it was an under. So 13.5-point dogs in their home state. You saw I'm carrying this in the next week, but they played a good team on the road in Provo. 13.5 points. I will risk a plus 420 to
Mm,
get to get uh
the
to get a big
max.
lead on you. Hopefully
The
it
max
hopefully it
payout. Oh,
hopefully it works. I just didn't really like many of the other dogs. There's some close dogs that were at like 190, 195 that are just on the very fringe of our lower limit. So I'm like, you know what? Go Bearcats, my old team. Why not? Let's go for it.
ah.
So yeah, so Bearcats plus 420 against Air Force.
We should have taken Colorado last weekend. Life would have been really easy for us. That was
Yeah,
the
should have.
shoulda, coulda,
You know,
woulda.
you know what I'd
Texas.
say about should have.
Yeah. I do like the $100 parlay on Texas State, Colorado, and Wyoming.
Yeah, because
$66,000 if you're living dangerously.
people are totally doing that. Yeah,
What do you
that's
mean you didn't
ridiculous.
have the Bobcats?
Yeah,
All right, run it down real quick so everybody, if they were falling asleep or doing whatever, can get
they
your
might
picks
be
this
falling
week.
asleep. Yeah, so I'm gonna go with Notre Dame minus 7.5 at NC State. Iowa State at home plus 4 against Iowa. The formerly known as Redskins and Cardinals 38.5 under. The Calvin Ridley over 54.5 yards, and the big dog of the week, Bearcats plus 420.
Oh baby. All right, Friday night, kick this thing off right after you watch this Friday in the afternoon or morning, whenever you choose to view this beautiful episode. Kansas Jayhawks -3 against the Fighting Illini. We got the Sooners -16 against SMU. This is not 1985. SMU is not great at football like they used to be, and Oklahoma still is good. Utah -7.5 against Baylor. Baylor sucks. Cam Rising may play. He's very good at football. Sam Howell for you Sunday watchers, over 205.5 passing yards. Watch out. Maybe the Commanders, football team, Redskins, whoever they are sneaky decent this year. And my upset this week, your Texas Tech Red Raiders bounce back against Bo Nix and the Oregon Ducks. Bo Nix, not good at football. I will never believe he's good at football. I watched him play 4 years in the SEC or 3 years, and he was terrible. So I'm never going to believe in you, Bo Nix. Never again. All right, that's gonna do it for us this week. Hopefully I cut into that 2-point lead for you, Scott. I am not looking forward to possibly shaving off my eyebrow. So we might
Not
have
happening.
to. What do you mean? I talked to
No
Amanda.
chance.
She said it was all. She said she's all for it.
I
Uh,
don't think so.
all right. So we'll again like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, share this video with your friends, and we'll see y'all next week. All right, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I want to hear from y'all what your thoughts are on this. Like this video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, share this video with your friends. It really helps the channel out a lot. If you want to support the channel more, click that join button or hit the link in the description and sign up for a channel membership. You get a lot of cool emojis and badges and stuff when you can use in our live streams during Monday Night Football games or any live streams. You get cool member shout outs, member only live streams. It helps support me, allowing me to make more of this great sports content for y'all. Again, like this video, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.